Hi, on this video I'm going to have a little talk about dating and finding a mate. Now, as I mentioned before in the last video, dating when you're in your 30s and 40s is kind of a whole new ballgame than it was when you were in your 20s. What happens along the way is that you actually develop some personal habits and things that you do that make you a little more unique than you probably were when you were 20. So finding someone that's actually happy to be with you now might be a little more difficult than it was when you're in your 20s and things weren't quite as developed. So I guess that's the first challenge of dating when you're older, and I certainly found that when I think I was about in my late 30s and found myself single and decided that I wanted to change that situation. I didn't want to spend too much time alone. I didn't want to spend weekends going to bars or nightclubs. I certainly didn't fit in when I was in my late 30s. As you are probably aware, you've probably been there and done that now as well yourself. So I guess I have a bit of a, it's not a theory, but I really think that sometimes you've just got to say yes to any opportunities that come up, because you just never know where that next person might come from. It might not be the person that you're actually hanging around or meeting. It might actually be their sister or brother or someone very close to them. So don't always say no to being set up by your family and friends, because they do know you very well and they're not going to put you in touch with someone that really doesn't suit you and your personality. There was a movie a few years ago, I think it was called Yes Man, something like that, with Jim Carrey. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Jim Carrey, but he was challenged to say yes to any opportunity or anything that came up, and he made a point of doing that for, I think it was like a week or 2 weeks or something like that, and his whole life changed. Now, that's a very extreme example and a Hollywood version of it, but just open your mind up a little bit and say yes to things that come along instead of automatically thinking no. Especially when it comes to those family and friends setup. One of the ones, there's a girlfriend, I'd known her for a long, long time, and she said to me, "Oh, there's this guy at work, I think he'd be perfect for you." So I said, "All right, okay, yep, give him my number." And it took him about 5 or 6 weeks to call me, so I don't know what was going on there. But he called me and we arranged to have a coffee, and that was quite nice, and we ended up dating for quite a while. But in the end, I realised that his long-term sort of goals and dreams were very different to mine. So that relationship didn't go very far, but I guess it was nice practice, I think, for learning how to date once a long-term relationship has broken up. Not every date's going to go wonderfully, and some will go absolutely horribly. But it's all part of life's experience, and you've just got to take it as that, and just keep moving on to the next one. There'll always be another one. I think it's really important to take stock of your hobbies and your activities, the things that you really like to do. So you're most likely going to find someone that you'll get on really well with if you have the same interests and hobbies and likes and things like that. So if you are an avid fisherman, then make sure you're in a fishing club. If you love wine, then be in a wine club. If you love to cook or you want to learn to cook, then organise that. Just do whatever it takes to actually get involved with different people that you haven't actually been involved with before. And then there's always the online. If you decide to try and meet someone online, then there's definitely an art to putting together a personal profile, and some people get it so very, very wrong. I certainly experienced that, and it's an interesting process, the online dating. It did actually work for me though. I was, as I mentioned earlier, on a bit of a mission once I decided that I wanted to not be single anymore, and I decided to just say yes to as many guys as I could that were at least within the realms of what my ideal partner was. And what ended up happening was that I had quite a bit of interest and would engage conversations with some of these guys, either email, eventually by phone, and then eventually to a coffee meeting. So, but it got to the point where I had too many guys trying to juggle all at the same time, and I wasn't necessarily sure that any one guy was definitely right or wrong, so I didn't want to discount anyone. So what I ended up having to do was a bit of a spreadsheet and manage where my dates were up to, who I'd spoken to who about, what I'd said to them, had I spoken to them on the phone, was it just an email conversation? So anyway, once I got my spreadsheet sorted, it was all quite easy to manage, and I was successful in that little venture, and I found a wonderful man who I'm now married to. So I'm definitely living proof that that works, and yeah, it was an interesting adventure for me to go on. So if you're not already on the online dating adventure, I strongly suggest that you give it a go. So I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Darlene Proud. I'm a sexologist and relationship personal trainer. So I guess sometimes we just need a little bit of help and guidance when it comes to this sort of thing. And if you would like to have a chat with me, no obligation, no cost or anything, just to see if and how I might be able to help you, then just click on that link below, and we can have a chat. And that might be by Skype, in person, or over the phone, depending on where you are in the world. Anyway, I look forward to talking to you. I'll see you soon.